Here's my fire set. See if it still works. Welcome to another episode of For You to Survive. In this video, I want to show you how to reuse the 3-stick fireboard and what it looks like up close and detailed. I also want to address the difference between a thicker fireboard and a thinner fireboard. So thank you to my subscribers. Thank you for all you watching. Please help my channel grow. Hit subscribe. Thank you. And enjoy the video. Here's the tree I was working on, and you can see where the beaver started chewing on it. Yep, that beaver's been at it some more. It's really chewing that tree up. This looks like a good branch. It's pretty smooth. Now I just got to break it off. There it is. Looks like we're going to split it. Now I can make my bowstring with a fresh piece of hemlock bark. That ought to do. Here's my bowstring that I just single wrapped. Here's the fire set from last time. I expect the hemlock bark to be dry and probably not usable, which is normal. So now I want to carefully remove the fireboards. Here's one potential fireboard. Here's the bigger fireboard that was too much to use. Here's a spindle. The bark is still good for wrapping things and keeping things from falling apart. Here's the socket. There's a successful fireboard. Here's the bow. Let's just see how things look, if we have any potential chance with it. Nope, it broke just as I thought it would. That's why we made a fresh bowstring. I should probably put some white pine resin on the spindle to lube it on the top. Same thing in the socket. There's a little bit left in there from before. This fireboard I didn't use. I thought about it. This fireboard was too big. The fireboard helped me burn in the spindle. This fireboard worked. This fireboard actually gave me the ember. Okay, so last time I figured this is the shape that worked. But now I need to rotate a little bit. So now I can have fresh wood for the fireboard and the spindle to drill on. So that should be enough right there. I will add the 3rd stick. So now I can drill right in here. I use a stick so the cordage holding the fireboard together doesn't get drilled in and weaken. I'm keeping the fireboard from pinching together. I'm allowing the ember to grow. Sometimes I get an ember on the other side. Sometimes I get both. Sometimes this side, sometimes that side. Usually this side. Now I got to put my finger in here, keep the board from coming together and putting out the ember. Now I'm going to carefully remove the fireboard. There's our ember trying to escape, but it's there, doing well. Build it up. All right, now that I have the ember, I got yellow birch bark with some white pine needles. I'll sprinkle some finely ground up pine needles in here. I collected them in this batch. So transfer the ember. More pine needles on top, the fine stuff. We'll let things build up. There we go. There's some flames. Excellent. That's what I needed. The thickness of this fireboard is about thumb thick, which means the powder doesn't have too far to fall to build up. The other one I used, it was maybe 2 thumbs thick, and this one was just a rough one to use. So I ended up using a smaller one because you can just imagine how far the powder has to fall on this one before it even gets heated up to the point of ignition. Here's some bonus information for you. Because the 2 sticks are close together and you're drilling against the 3rd stick, the space in there is allowing the wood not to burn in the middle. So you end up getting a point. So what ends up happening there is you got to braid the point off with some rocks so you can keep on drilling. So I want you to know if this happens, this needs to be cut off. I wouldn't take off the char, but that's what you got to do to keep on drilling. Cut this off with the rocks, just like when you were making a spindle, you rubbed it. Same thing. There we go. Smooth it off. Okay, on this fireboard that I used, I do have a 3rd stick in here. It's small and it broke off, but the significant thing I want to show you is there was a knot on the end of the stick. Like there's a knot or a branch sticking out there, and there's a branch sticking out there. So I'll clean it up a little bit so you can see how that was keeping the spacing. So that's an interesting adaptation. So you can also use that. So there's well, let's just separate it and see. So now you can see where the branch is, right there. So the branch was helping to keep the spacing of the fireboard in this case also. So there's a lot of options for you out there. I hope that answered some of your questions. We got a little more detailed look today, and keep on drilling.